What's up, guys? Welcome to the Kingdom Men Transfer Man Nation podcast. I have on here a special guest today, Rob Hollingsworth. Our podcast is sponsored by the Acquisition CEO, which is a seven-figure business acquisition specialist company. On today's podcast, we're going to have a good time. This is kind of like a dad podcast moment. We're going to be talking about the ultimate challenge, the ultimate question of life, especially around the holiday seasons. Where should you buy gifts for your dad? What do they want? And where should they come from? And then what are the two differences between Home Depot and Lowe's? So I'm a Lowe's guy, and Rob here, you are a Home Depot guy, right?
That's correct.
I like Lowe's because they have veteran parking, and I'm a veteran, so I get to park. I get a special parking spot when I get there. So I think that's a win for Lowe's.
Home Depot has it as well.
Do they? What?
Yep.
Home Depot has veteran parking?
Yep.
Okay, so I got to frequent a Home Depot more often. My other reason for picking Lowe's over Home Depot for me is distance. Lowe's is just a few minutes shorter for me to get to than Home Depot.
Fair enough.
What about you? How is Lowe's closer, but you still go to Home Depot?
Yeah. Lowe's is closer. I'm in Simpsonville. I've always been a Home Depot guy. My dad is a Lowe's guy, and every time I go in that store, it's backwards. The people suck. I'm not a huge fan of change. Probably that has something to do with it. But I want to tell you one story because we were exchanging threads on that Facebook post you did, and just before that, I bought like the fertilizer, the attachment that goes on the end of the hose that you spray on your lawn. And I bought it at Lowe's because I was driving past Lowe's and I was like, oh, I can go in there and get it real quick. I was like, oh, don't really want to go in there, but I did it. Go in there, get it. It was like $8. And I put it on the end of my hose. I turned my hose on, and the plastic cap that the attachment just immediately breaks off. And it's leaking stuff everywhere. And so I go, whatever. So I'm like, I'll go exchange it, just get a new one. I walk in there. Mind you, I put it in like another like plastic container because it was leaking fertilizer. And I go up and I go, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have my receipt because I got soaking wet. It was in my pants. I just want to exchange this. Well, you don't have your receipt. We can't accept it. And I was like, okay. And then so she goes to grab it from me with her bare hands. I said, you might want to put some gloves on or just get the trash can. And she, just an awful customer service agent. So that's just one example. Home Depot, you walk in there with no receipt. They'll let you do exchanges or store credit. They don't care.
Okay. So that's a huge benefit, a huge plus. I'll tell you a funny story. So we were down in the Outer Banks, and we were in Virginia, our house at the Outer Banks is pretty far from any hardware store, Home Depot, or Lowe's. So if you're going to town, it doesn't matter. So my brother-in-law is a Home Depot guy, and we were going to dinner for my wife's birthday. Right? Hats off to him. I know you and him could be buddies. So he had to get some stuff. I had to get some stuff to build this outdoor shower enclosure and fence stuff, and I had to get a little air compressor and some things. And so we went to Home Depot. I hadn't been in a Home Depot in a pretty long time, like to actually do a project, to buy anything. And I will throw this out there, and I think our Facebook conversation was prior to this event, but their lumber's better.
Yep.
Right? The lumber quality, their quality lumber's better. There's more stuff in the store, so the store's not as spread out. And I will say this staff is much nicer about helping. Like, I think I had 10 people ask me if they could help me load the cart, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But can we help you? Can we help you?
Yeah.
And every time I go into Lowe's, I agree with you. It's much less staffed. And sometimes that's good for me though, because I'm in, I'm out, I know what I'm after. I don't need, 50 people asking me questions. I just want to get in, be left alone, self-checkout, off we go to the races.
So caveat off of my story. So when I just dropped a thing in there and I was like, I'll just buy another fertilizer. It's another $10 or whatever. So I grab one, I walk up to the cash register, and there's a older gentleman there. He's got a veteran pin, and he goes, yeah, how you doing today? I was like, oh, I'm good. I was like, I know this isn't your fault, but this is why I shop at Home Depot. And he goes, oh,
Right.
me too.
That's too funny. That's too funny. So right now, I think the scorecard's winning for Lowe's or for Home Depot, even though I like Lowe's. The only benefit so far, which I thought was veteran parking, and then potentially, the fact that it's a little closer for me than the Home Depot. So that's okay.
Oh.
I think Home Depot's winning. And I'll also say this. rigid tools have been out a lot longer than cobalt tools, or at least I think so. As far as most of them, like table saws, chop saws, a lot of the hand tools, not maybe wrenches and things like that, but rigid has always made really good products.
Yeah. Do they do
Like
Ryobi at Lowe's?
I think they no, they do Ryobi at Home Depot, right?
I know they do it at Home Depot. I'm not sure if they do.
Yeah, I don't think they do that at Lowe's. But I'm also fixing to test something out. So I bought years ago the whole uh, battery cordless set, the Impact Skill Saw, Sawzall grinder, but battery powered grinder. If you don't have one, highly recommend that. Battery powered nail gun, battery powered. I bought a battery powered chop saw with a small
Yeah.
lithium batteries. Miter saw, bought all the stuff. Well, a couple weeks ago, I was doing something, and then I had one of my big 20-volt batteries go like die, like it won't hold a charge. So I've got it in my truck, and next time I'm in Lowe's, it's supposed to have a lifetime warranty on the Cobalt stuff. I'm going to see how this battery exchange goes. If the battery exchange goes south, maybe making a switch over to some rigid stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend $100 on a battery when it's supposed to be, have a lifetime warranty.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do a comparative analysis after that because I'm not quite sure what the battery policy is at Home Depot.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Next time you go into Home Depot, we'll have to do a follow-up Facebook post or something, where we're like, hey guys, if you're having troubles out of your electronic stuff, and your small tools, Home Depot's better or Lowe's is better, and we could definitively answer that. But it could be the person and that personality that day. I've been in stores where some people are like, oh, we'll take it back. And then some stores are like, we're going to need your toenails before we take it back.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. Your passport photo and all sorts of stuff.
right. Yeah, we're going to need a copy of your bank statement for the last month. So I pulled up on the internet. I also pulled up kind of a questionnaire about what people think Home Depot or Lowe's. I was looking for my 10 minutes, 24 seconds, and this had recorded for a minute and a half before we got in. I'll edit this piece out. All right, so the internet has some opinions. Let's see if any of this is true. The difference between Lowe's and Home Depot. Lowe's, people graded store atmosphere. I don't know about that. Lowe's customer service, I don't know about that one either. I mean, I go into Lowe's because I don't want to talk to people necessarily in that part of the day. So I don't know about that one. Brand selection, I don't know that would go either way. Really, what do you think? I mean, as far as maybe the tools and things could be, but like other stuff, outlets, supplies,
I could give the nod to Lowe's as far as their paint. The Bear versus the
Yeah,
Valspar.
Lowe's has good paint.
I would choose a Valspar.
Yeah, Lowe's has good paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what type of paint Home Depot carries.
Bear.
What kind of paint do they have?
It's Bear.
Bear.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Valspar paint, I will say, is a win on that one. Other than that, like most of the other stuff, I've never really seen a difference. Like small electrical supplies, hardware, nuts, bolts, any of that kind of stuff. I'd say where I like to buy hardware is Tractor Supply because you can buy it by the pound.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, a quick tip there for anybody that's checking this thing out. Oh, here's one. We've already talked about this one. Return policy. I think Home Depot's a winner on the return policy.
Not even comparable.
And then what is it?
I said it's not even comparable.
Yeah. So I don't have any experience on the Home Depot part, but it seems that you probably do. So we'll give that one a win. We'll give Home Depot a win on that one. And the other one, here's one: pricing and discounts. So at Lowe's, I get a veterans discount. I get 10% off, and then there's a pro discount that you can get. So you can get that at Home Depot. Okay, so that's that. What about other discounts? I will say that when I bought the Cobalt set of cordless tools, it was a display, and they were doing a year-end change out, and so I bought it all for ridiculous thing. They did a huge discount on that, so I was super thankful for that. And then I bought. I've got a Cobalt toolbox, like a big tool chest, and somebody had ordered like foam trays, for like all your sockets.
Yeah.
And so somebody had ordered them. It wasn't an in-store item, and they had 3 sets. And so I bought all 3 sets and gave both my brothers a set, and it had the sockets and all the tools in them. It was like a 500-piece toolkit, and I think I got them for $100 a piece.
Oof. That's a good steal.
And they fit in the drawers of the toolboxes,
Yeah.
the Cobalt toolboxes. So I would say that Lowe's has always been good to me on discounts. How about you? What any experiences on Home Depot
I know
discount?
I've had before because they make you bring your DD214 in there, and
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm not going to remember my DD214 when I got a project going on in the house. I'm not going to go fetch it out, but they would honor the 10%. Uh, and then you do because does Lowe's make you bring your DD214 down?
no, they will. So you got to register. Basically,
Yeah.
you got to tie your account to your driver's license. They used to not do that, and I agree with you. It took me probably 3 years to set
Oh
up
yeah.
an account.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. Saturday morning or whatever, you're going to Lowe's or Home Depot, and you go in there and you pull out, and they're like, "Hey, you have military discount?" I think yes, and they're like, "You got your DD214?" Be like,
No.
"I'm not taking out a mortgage.
Yeah.
I'm not applying for a VA loan."
Yeah.
I'm like DD214. What is this? A government installation?
Yeah.
So are you a veteran too?
Yeah. I was a Navy.
Okay, I didn't know that. What was your MOS in the Navy?
I was I handled dogs, look for explosives with canines.
Oh man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, hey, thanks for your service. I was a crew chief on jets.
Oh, sweet. That's a tough job to
Yeah,
get on.
yeah, yeah. It was fun. Fortunately, I was a good mechanic before I got into that, and learned a lot about those things, and just paid attention to detail,
Yeah.
which is kind of important when you're putting airplanes back together.
Yeah, I would hope.
the, the attention to detail is not a like a 90% option. It's like 100% required.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But all right, and then favorite products. If
Ooh.
I had to pick a favorite product from Lowe's,
Does it have to be exclusive to the store?
so that's the thing is that it's exclusive to either a Lowe's or a Home Depot store.
Ooh.
If I had to pick a favorite product at Lowe's, I've always had. No, let's think here. Lowe's has always had a really good selection in the spring of like grills and outdoor furniture and different
Yeah.
pads and pillows. They've always had a good selection of that stuff. Seems like compared to a lot of other places. So I think that they win maybe in that one.
I would probably give you that. I was when I was there last, I saw they had like side by sides out front.
Right.
Oh
Right.
man, that's tough.
It's like the new Sam's Club.
Yeah. Exclusive to Home Depot. Hmm. Boy, that's brutal. I don't know. I'm always doing my own
Flashlights.
like landscaping and stuff like that. So maybe they're trees, but I don't know if like Lowe's has a decent selection of trees. I don't know.
I don't think Lowe's does have a decent selection of trees. They got a decent nursery, but I don't know about trees. So the last part, let's wrap this up with if you could pick let's talk about Christmas gifts that men could enjoy or like from Lowe's or Home Depot. This is going to come out before Christmas. I know Lowe's. Excuse me. Lowe's puts out an entire section of bullcrap for men,
Yeah.
like mechanics gloves, flashlights, pocket knives, razor blades, all kinds of weird, eclectic, magnetic tools and things that you would see. Like it's almost like a man's flea market.
Thank. Well, I don't. I still need like a big tool box. You know, one of
Yeah.
those like three
Okay.
thousand dollar ones. That's still on my list.
Yeah. Like the tool
Yeah,
chest,
the
like
tool
the big one.
chest. My last house, I had a huge like built-in cabinets with a tool bench and everything. Huge three-car garage,
Nice.
and that was tough to give up.
Ooh, yeah, that would be tough to give up. If I had to pick one thing from Lowe's that I would want, it probably would be that's the section full of Christmas stuff, but that wouldn't be something I would pick. I love tools. Like I like all the tools, mechanics tool, chop saws. I tell you what, I don't have. I don't have a good router.
Oh, I got a good DeWalt one. It actually came in that. My wife bought it for me last Christmas. It was like I don't know, it's probably like 10 pieces, all electronic with batteries. They had a router in there too. Good.
So a battery powered router.
Yeah.
Oh man, I bet that thing is awesome.
Yeah. Has it like a router? skill saw or skill saw, uh,
Right.
2 drills, impacts. What else was in there? Sawzall. I'm trying to think. Was that it? Yeah, there was something else in there. There's like one more. It was like $350.
It's probably like a flashlight or something random.
Yeah.
Maybe the last one, so they can make it 10. Two quick things. I saw a guy one time cut out some trim on some stair risers or stair stringers with a router. So he cut the trim side pieces out with a router, and I thought, man, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, a big myth that I hear a lot of guys talk about is, and they don't know the difference, is the difference between a drill and an impact. Like somebody they'll be dry, and what the purpose of the two tools are. So I think we should probably cover that real quick. You want to give us a synopsis of, the difference in the drill and the impact in those kits and what the two tools are used for that are different.
Well, I don't know about officially, but an impact is going to get that drive down into the screw or the fastener, versus a regular drill is not going to have that. I
Right.
guess that's the best
That's
way
the
to
thing.
describe
I've
it.
seen,
Right now,
yeah,
there's
you're
some dude
100% right.
listening
I've
to
seen,
this, and he's like, "What an idiot!"
right. These guys are idiots. Well, that's so true. I've seen people have both, and they grab the drill, they put the bit in it, and they go to drive the screws. And I'm like, you have the impact.
Yeah.
And I've also seen people put drill bits in impacts.
So I think what I would describe it as is I would use my impact for doing like actual work, and then I would use my drill for putting kids' toys together.
Oh man, that's dad advice right there. It's simple Christmas dad advice.
Yeah.
So to anybody listening, mom, daughter, anybody out there listening, checking this out, you can get your husband a DeWalt 10 set piece for Christmas before Christmas so he can put together the kids' Christmas presents. I think that'd
That's a
make every
beautiful.
man
Yeah.
happy. I'll take a 10-piece DeWalt thing,
Yeah.
especially if Lowe's won't swap out my battery.
Yeah. Well, they sold DeWalt at Lowe's, I'm pretty sure, right?
They sell not the cordless tools. I don't think they might. I know they sell corded tools like table saws, chop saws. Um, I don't know if I've seen the battery powered DeWalt stuff at Lowe's recently or not.
So your favorite tool is a router? You don't have a router.
I don't have a router. Yeah, let's do that though. If we had to pick a favorite tool, so I don't have a router. I could use a router. That's one thing I don't have that I could use. If I had to pick a favorite tool, just for functionality around the house, it's probably at maybe top three, and it is the impact. I mean, you can use the impact for everything. You put an adapter on there, put sockets on it. You could drive deck screws. You could hang things in the wall. I think an impact is a valuable piece. I love my battery powered miter saw. Like instead of having to drag all the stuff out,
Yeah.
especially if I'm doing flooring or some trim work, like man, and because I don't have to measure it, go downstairs,
Yeah.
go outside, cut it, come up, and then when you're like, I need to take just a
Little,
16th of an
yeah,
inch off,
little
and go,
hair off there.
yeah, and go back down, and then you take too much off because you had a minute between here and two questions on the way down the stairs and all the way outside, and you cut it short, and then you're like. So those are probably my top two favorite tools. What would
I
you
would
think
have to
that your
agree.
top two might be?
I don't have a battery powered miter saw, but my miter saw is probably my favorite, just as far as it's fun. And I do a lot. I've done a lot
Yeah.
of trim work, flipping houses, and know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's fun to
Yes.
run
So
around.
battery powered. It is. I love a miter saw. I like trim work. I like carpentry. I built my desk and things that all this stuff sits on. I made it actually out of some old doors. That's what this piece is over
Oh,
here.
nice.
So if you find one, I found it and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. But for laying trim and all that, man, so useful. There was something else. There was one more thing I was gonna. Oh, I want tell us last piece of this, and we'll edit some things out as we get to this piece. But tell us about you. Tell us about what you do for a living. I want people to hear that. One of the purposes of this podcast is to have kind of fun dad business talks, but I
Yeah.
also want people to know about you, who you are, and what you do.
I used to be in the Navy, and then I was in law enforcement. I was a SWAT officer out of the West Coast. That we about 2 years ago moved to South Carolina. I started my own consulting business in the roofing and storm restoration industry. So what I do is I consult. I do inspection for like real estate transactions, insurance stuff. and I assist roofing contractors in building out their sales team for insurance restoration. And then I also have I'm about to start another podcast actually, with my buddy who's a veteran as well. We coach transitioning military veterans and police officers on how to enter into entrepreneurship. That's called Planting
Dude,
the
that's huge.
Flag. So that's like my, yeah, it's fun and it keeps me engaged in those communities. Because when people leave those communities, they have a tough time and they're kind of left to the wind. So I like to try to get
Yeah.
them to think big and open up their eyes and have big visions and do what they really want to do instead of, and I actually say this in my, when I talk about it, I go, do you really want to work at Home Depot or Lowe's?
Right. Right. It ties right into this subject matter.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I personally, I don't. That's not what I want to do.
Sure. Well, and most military guys are more well equipped than to settle into a position like that. So I
Yeah.
agree with you. No, that's awesome. That's huge. Keep me in the loop on that kind of stuff. Um, I,
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
real
I'll be
thing.
on. Come on and talk about what you, how you transitioned out and what you took from it, what you would do differently.
Yeah, because there definitely is. When you're done, they're like set you at the front gate, and they're like, "Have a good day. Hope you paid attention to all the briefings."
Military is a little bit different because I think not all the time, but generally a lot of the military guys are younger, so they're getting out with 4 years. They're
Right.
23, 24 years old or whatever. It's a little bit different. Police officers, like when they retire, it's a whole different ball game. So that's got a special place for me. But
Okay.
trying to help these guys out and get them onto their next chapter.
Okay. No, that's awesome. So let's have another conversation about that because helping people and growing men, especially law enforcement and veterans and patriots and all that kind of stuff. I'm a huge fan of all that. So let's kind of continue a conversation on that. It's exciting stuff. I didn't even know that, so that's cool. I love
Yeah.
learning new things, and I'm a huge fan of that. So, well, man, I appreciate having you on. We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up, and I'll do a quick outro. So, are you good? You got anything else you want to
No,
say?
that's it, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, hey, Rob, thanks for being on the Kingdom Men Transformation Nation podcast today. It was fun talking about Home Depot and Lowe's and Christmas and all the fun stuff. Look forward to kind of talking about some other subjects and the other business that you've got going on at another date, talking about transition, military, and law enforcement. I think a lot of people enjoy hearing about that too. So let's rock and roll and go win the day.
Cool. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yep. See you.